Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the February 21st Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. I'm Rebecca Wilson, our worship associate for today. It's good to be with you this week of National Social Justice Day, Black History Month, and the beginning of Lent. From ancient times, the season of lengthening days and springing hope. To begin our service, we light our chalice as a symbol of our search for truth and meaning, our shared communion, and our light of caring. Join, if you will, in the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning, all. As pastor of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg, I'm pleased to note that we are a congregation for all souls, for all ages, genders, orientations, loves, colors, abilities, educations, beliefs, questions, and hopes. Learning from all persons and all peoples, we seek to promote spiritual growth and caring community. May our time together this morning help us grow. A few announcements. We have closed captioning, of course, on YouTube. Look at the bottom of the screen and you will see a little square with two C's in it. That's closed captioning. If you would like to learn more about our religious tradition, please get in touch with me, send an email. My contact information is on our webpage. And this morning, thanks to Rebecca, John, and James for contributing to our service with words, song, and production, as well as great spirit. And thank you to you for making us a blessed community. Now, our invocation.
Our invocation this morning is from Deuteronomy chapter 10 and from poet Emma Lazarus. As it is written in the Jewish scripture Deuteronomy, Moses gave this invocation to the Israelites. Jehovah, your God, being of beings, is God of gods and Lord of lords, the great God, mighty and awesome, not partial, taking no bribe, bringing justice for the orphan and the widow, loving the strangers, providing them food and clothing. And you also shall love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. May we remember we too were strangers in another people's land. And American poet Emma Lazarus gave this invocation to the world toward the end of the 19th century. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. May we remember we too are often strangers in strange places.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come, come. worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. 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 Come yet again, come.
I have a question for you if you are young, though older people sometimes have this question too. How can you tell if you are welcome someplace, especially someplace new? The beautiful song we just heard says, "Come, come, whoever you are." And on TV, Mr. Rogers often says, "I like you just the way you are." But if it's your real life, how do you know? Even my two cats, Max and Fiona, seem to have that question. As I was thinking about it, Fiona was curled up on my chair, nestled against my back for warmth on a chilly morning. How did she know that she was welcome there? When our grandchildren began to come over to the house each morning for school, online school, Max and Fiona would hide. They didn't know the kids. And the kids were sad about that. They love cats and dogs. Then the kids learned that when they stopped running around the house like crazy before school began, the cats would come out of hiding and just sit and watch. Watching was Max's and Fiona's way of testing if they were really safe and really welcome. Just watching from a safe distance. Then, when the kids learned to offer treats to the cats and to talk to them in gentle voices, the kitties began to feel safe and welcome. Even when the kids had exercise time during school and would dance around like crazy to loud music. And now Max and Fiona wait for the kids to arrive each morning. And when the kids get here, they might play with the cats, or they might all eat something together, or they might just sit together and purr. And they all feel welcome. It's joyful. Being welcome is joyful. And knowing when you're welcome is joyful. Now let's us share our joys and concerns that we might have this morning. If you have a particular personal joy or concern to share today, please type it in the sidebar under the comment column. And you may share again during our coffee hour if you'd like. That'd be most welcome. You're also always welcome to let us know about personal joys or concerns that you would like shared at this time during the service. You can just let me know, or the co-chairs of our worship committee, Susan Bernor or Dave Mapp. Please be in touch anytime things seem a bit too much, and keep being in touch with one another. You are making such a difference in all of our lives. This morning, we send special love to Roy and Sue Price. We love you both, Roy and Sue. May you be well, and may we all be safe and well. Now, our reading for this morning.
Our reading is from Universalists and Unitarians in America by former president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, the Reverend John Burens. Hosea Ballou, in 1817, became minister of the Second Universalist Society in Boston. According to his biographers, Ballou once traveled to a small town to preach. Although his host had embraced universalism, his hostess remained skeptical of the new ideas. She greeted Ballou in her kitchen while cleaning for the Sabbath, and she asked, "Do you really believe that all men will be saved just as they are?" When he said that he did, she just shook her head. "What is in your hand, dear woman?" Ballou asked her. "Why, my mop," she replied. "Are you going to mop the floor just as it is?" he asked. "Well, of course, I mop it to clean it." "Ah," Ballou said, "you do not require it to be made clean before you will consent to mop it up. Likewise, God saves souls to purify them. That's what salvation is for. God does not require men to be pure in order that he may save them."
When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
This morning, I'd like us to think a bit about the third of the 7 principles in the covenant amongst Unitarian Universalist congregations, which reads, "We covenant to affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations." From ancient times, humans, perhaps alone among the animals, have worried about who divinity accepts into its circle of care, who it favors, blesses, helps, empowers, and equally important, who divinity rejects from its circle of care, who it opposes, curses, hinders, punishes. The answer Moses proclaimed was that divinity accepts and helps everybody, including the stranger, alien or alienated, and that we as its offspring can and should live out that same perfect spirit. Universalist minister Hosea Ballou invoked that spirit of perfect care in his day, the early 1800s. Divinity saves all souls to purify them and purifies them to save all souls. Why? Because divinity cares as parent for child. And as Unitarian minister William Ellery Channing preached just a few blocks from where Ballou was preaching at the very same time, humanity shouldn't reject what has divine potential any more than it would throw out its child who got dirty in the garden. 70 years ago, after Ballou and Channing, the poet and refugee activist Emma Lazarus ascribed that same divine spirit to the Statue of Liberty, accepting all from whom oppressors had withheld care in other lands. A Greek immigrant of that time wrote of his feeling upon seeing the colossal statue, "Lady, give me a chance to prove that I am worth it, to do something, to be someone in America." Of course, for many, the welcome did not turn out to be acceptance. The docks and slums in port of entry cities were cluttered, crammed with unaccepted European refugees. For centuries, many established Americans have known little and perhaps cared less about the plight of immigrants. And at the very same time, many in the land had long experienced the dark side of America, from which Lady Liberty looked away. Witness this commentary from the African American newspaper, the Cleveland Gazette, written shortly after the statue was dedicated. Liberty, enlightening the world, indeed. This government is a howling farce. It cannot, or rather does not, protect its citizens within its own borders. The idea of this country enlightening the world is ridiculous. Thus we see the divide between our ideal and our actuality. And we ask, what about me? Am I accepted? Am I accepting? Are my church and community accepting? Must we accept everybody? Must we accept them just the way they are? By the time you sign UU St. Pete's membership book, you know what our congregations and tradition stand for. The congregations within the Unitarian Universalist Association covenant to promote 7 principles descriptive of the universal stages of spiritual development as we understand them currently. That is our mission, our purpose as a church. Contemporary psychological researchers report that most Americans are not aware of all their spiritual potentials in relationship with themselves, with others, or with their source. And they don't really come close to fulfilling those potentials, not because they can't, but because their religious and social institutions often obscure and obstruct. Take January 6th at the Capitol, for example. To ironically borrow a line from former President Trump, there were good people in the mob. Good in some relationships. Good in some circumstances. But not good in fully realizing their spiritual potentials for understanding and caring for all of life. Will we, as UUs, affirm and promote acceptance of violent rioters? If they would join us respectfully in our quests during Sunday worship, in our gatherings for exploring and sharing, then yes, I think we should, if understanding and caring are really to grow. But we could then also legitimately hope to encourage them to grow in all their relationships with life. Mutual respect is the big if. Understanding starts with acceptance. Caring starts with encouragement. Nobody will come to love everybody in that word's conventional sense. But anybody can grow to care for everybody, to act so as to encourage and help them in their own growth in understanding and caring. Our capacity to do so comes from our experience and the questions we raise together. We were probably not yet perfect. You were probably not yet perfect when you joined our tradition. If your course of spiritual development has been anything like mine, you still aren't. You joined because of what you want to be, not because of what you are. And you stay after each further stage of development, I believe, because you sense you can go still further. And when you get there, I'm guessing you still will stay, because then you know how much help, how much care everybody needs, even Christs and Buddhists. The fully blessed are those who stick around to bless. The enlightened who invest themselves in the world's soul. The transfigured who come down from the mountain and care for the children of God. When you or I join a UU congregation, I don't think we are asked to commit to growing in spirit, though our own priorities may start there. I think we are asked to commit to being part of a congregation devoted to promoting spiritual growth in ourselves and one another, and outward to all people and species and systems. And all of that is what saves us, I think. Not being purified in the Hosea Ballou sense of being made spotless or colorless by God, but in the sense of feeling part of so much fulfillment that we are transfigured, enlightened, radiant. Be our radiance tinted beige or gold or black or white or rose or red or brown. When we stop glowering and start glowing, what a world that will be. So I ask, is it not true that each of us comes, whoever we are, wanting to be accepted by others? And that soon we find we must also come to accept those others. None of us, not I as minister, not you as member, is empowered to tell others what they should be. But without setting the outcome, we can accept and we can encourage. So may we grow in understanding and caring. For is it not you who is the beacon torch and the golden door, just as you are becoming?
To keep our congregation thriving, let's remember our connection to one another and our offerings to support our congregation. As you listen to a brief musical offering, please click on the I in the upper right corner of your screen to make a contribution. You can also donate using the Gift Plus app or on our web page under Giving. You can also send a check to the church office. Thank you.
Thank you for your offerings. And anytime you have ideas to offer about how we might better serve our congregation's members and mission, please let us know. And now in closing, may we accept one another. And may we encourage and help one another grow in understanding and caring, just as the universe is doing in us. You are the torch and the golden door, just as you are becoming.
And now, as our service ends, with a breath, we pass the flame of our chalice lamp to each other as we say our closing words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.
resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light and softly serenade the stars, dancing circles in the night.
May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night.
And may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light and softly serenade the stars, dancing circles in the night.
The stars, ever dancing circles in the night. Dancing circles in the night.